8 teams earned direct invitations. Another 6 from around the world have already qualified. Good morning, everyone, from our ESL studios here in Burbank, California, where over the next 2 days, 8 teams will battle it out to determine which 2 final spots will be occupied from the North American region. There are a number of storylines to follow in this event. In Group A, Cloud9 come in as the heavy favorites to go through with the spectacular performances over the last month. But not only that, they're up against an underdog in Noble, who had an upset online qualifying portion of the event against Affinity just to make it here. Group B, there's equally good storylines. CLG, Mythic, Maximum Effort, and Elevate, 2 of which, Mythic and Maximum Effort, have lost their sponsorships in the last week. So for them, the prestige of making it through to the major, the sticker money that would be involved, it would be a huge foot put forward to find a new sponsorship and a new home. The bracket's a little bit different than the previous qualifiers that we've seen. In Europe, it was 16 teams in 2 groups with single elimination. The same starts off here, and we'll look at Group A as we start with them this morning to explain it. So, single elimination with a lower bracket started off, and there's 2 semifinals, but it's a little bit of a loose term. The semifinals on Sunday are truthfully 2 separate finals, and the winner of those will move directly forward. So we start off Cloud9 versus Noble Esports in the morning, and then Team Liquid Tempo Storm, which that match has a lot of potential as well, as those 2 teams do have a decent chance of making it into that second spot. Of course, for everyone tuning in and joining us, we want to include you in the action as much as possible, and there are 3 different ways in which you can participate in that. First and foremost, obviously, heading to the ESL website, esl-one.com, as well as on Facebook.com/ESLCS, and the big one, Twitter. If you use @ESLCS and the hashtag ESL1, you'll have a chance to not only get your tweets live and shown on the stream throughout the weekend, but also participate in a trending conversation and an online discussion about the event as a whole. And hopefully we do get that trending, so please partake in that. As well, as we mentioned, this is the qualifying portion for the next major in Cologne. Now, the last one set the standards in esports with over 1 million unique concurrent viewers, setting a Twitch record for an individual channel. This one promises to deliver on the same front in just 3 weeks' time, so you want to get your tickets now. I highly anticipate this will be a sold-out event. You can do that as well on the website, esl-one.com/Cologne. Now, that said, I did mention there are a lot of storylines to be talked about. And to bring you all the action with me this weekend, we've got 2 of the best analysts in the business in North America. We've got Jason Moses O'Toole and an upcoming caster in North America who I think you guys are all going to very much enjoy this weekend. Blue, I'm going to actually take a seat and join you guys. But first and foremost, thoughts coming into the weekend, first on being here, as well as, like I said, what you expect to see on day 1.
It's awesome. It's a lot of fun to be here, especially so important. I mean, you talked about a lot of those storylines. Really cool to see which one of these teams is going to step up and get that, Cloud9 being the heavy favorites, but which team is going to get to go with them over to Cologne.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely pumped to be here as well. This is one of my big first events, of course, but a lot of teams are going to be vying for that second spot. You've got Tempo Storm, CLG, Liquid, along with plenty of the other teams, which, I mean, they've all been kind of trading blows in the previous weeks in a lot of the online matches. So with that said, there's going to be a lot of competition this weekend to claim that second spot.
Yeah, and like we said, Cloud9 do come in as the heavy favorites. That goes without saying. 5th in the world right now, the highest North American global offensive ranking a North American team has ever had. But a lot of the other teams here, aside from Noble, have had international experience over the last few months. But they've never really dominated and occupied that second spot. Tempo's made strides as of late. Liquid had it for a little while with Face-It appearances, Gfinity. It's all to play for ultimately in this second spot, would you say? I mean, is there someone that stands out to you as a favorite?
No, it's been this revolving door in North America. Who's going to be that second best team behind Cloud9? And it's been like that battle between CLG and Liquid, and all these teams. Even Elevate a few months back was kind of vying for it, maybe back in like March. But I mean, it's just this inconsistency where teams kind of step up and they play to that high level and they kind of dip down. So some team is going to have to establish themselves here, especially with Tempo Storm had a great event last weekend. They're looking good. So a lot to play for these teams.
Well, and that said, we'll take a peek at our first matchup. So we do have Noble Esports going against Cloud9. Now, on paper, that seems fairly straightforward, would it not? Everyone would anticipate Cloud9. But let's talk a little bit about Noble. They won the online portion of the qualifier against Affinity, who was a professional-level team this year. These guys were not. They were a Premier Division team. Chances for them coming into this, I mean, is this just about getting experience, or are they going to come out guns blazing and try and upset in this best-of-1?
I think for Noble, the big thing for them is, as we talked a lot about this weekend, is how strong is the kind of dark horse factor, the wild card factor going to be for this team, because they overall have not had a lot of international or even really high-tier North American experience as of yet. So they're pretty untested at this level. And with that said as well, a lot of the other teams don't really know what to expect from them. So if there is anything positive to say about them, it's the fact that, I mean, we as well, in addition to a lot of the other teams, really just don't know what to expect from them today.
And on screen now we see Rob Wiz. Now a lot of people, if they've been following FPS in general, will know him from the PC iteration of the Call of Duty franchises. He was one of the top players actually in the world for a while, so he's got international experience in another game, and he's slowly been transferring that over into Counter-Strike, and is a player I think to watch for in North America over the next couple seasons, but into this event really how do we expect them to perform, Jason?
I mean, the issue is Cloud9. I mean, you don't really need to talk about too much, but this is such a big task for them just to start this out. I mean, top to bottom, the Cloud9 members are going to just be outscaling. They're going to be dominant. I mean, you look at this lineup, these guys have been facing off against the best teams in Europe. They've been facing against Fnatic. They've had those 3 finals in a row, Na'Vi as well. And here's the scary part. These guys are huge favorites here, but Cloud9 in a regional matchup, best of ones. I mean, there are going to be some trips. They have trouble closing out games even against other North American teams, so they've got to be very careful they don't drop the ball.
Yeah, we saw that having trouble closing out last week against CLG in particular. There was tweets from Sean saying we have obviously issues there, but the domestic battles, even Dignitas, TSM, Flipside, Na'Vi, they're always interesting, and that holds true here. Blue, for you, I mean, we've got Cbble on this team who's been absolutely instrumental to their success as of late. How much can he contribute this weekend?
I mean, Cbble, for the most part, absolutely speaks for himself in regards to his skill. We were discussing this earlier, probably one of the top 2 oppers right now in the world. Him as well as Guardian are probably one of the bigger ones to look out for, and he's just been pulling out these insane plays in almost every single matchup, both online and on LAN, and that's something you don't really see too much, is the consistency between both online play and LAN play, and that's something he can really bring to the table and is a big strength for the Cloud9 roster.
And for a while as well, sorry Jason, for a while as well, it was almost like Cloud9 had faded out. They had a lot of problems. There was a dark period for North America of about 4 months where we couldn't even get a map off the Europeans. And aside from bringing in a guy like Cbble, one of the things that for me has stood out is bringing in Freakazoid as well, but alleviating pressure from Sean Garris, who's changed his role, not his role in terms of being a game leader, but the way at which he approaches it. He's got a lot more authority now.
Yeah, and now we're going to see this is going to be the map that we're playing on. It's going to be Cbble for this first matchup between Cloud9 and Noble. Interesting that this is getting through. I mean, this is a map that we just saw. Cloud9 took it to Fnatic on this. I mean, they've taken it to some good teams on this map. But you got to say, this matchup, Cloud9 versus Noble, no matter what map it is, Cloud9 just has too deep of a map pool for Noble to really stack up to it. So this might be a map that Noble, maybe they have something prepared for it, but it's lesser played still in North America, not as much experience on it. This could be a map they try and make something happen.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's interesting that it does go to this because there's some execution related here. If it went to something like Dust, maybe Noble would have a bit of a
freewheeling
outside shot, exactly. But it does look as though we are going to get into the knife round, so I'll hand it over to you guys. Please bring us all the action, Blue and Moses.
All right, and while we, of course, wait for the knife round to close here, just to discuss a little bit more about this, about these 2 teams, and more specifically, what exactly we're going to need to come out from Noble here. I think a big key is going to be trying to establish a really solid identity for themselves and trying to outplay Cloud9, with Sean Garris being infamous for counterplaying other teams. How do you think Noble is going to try to outplay them here today?
Well, the major thing that they're going to have to do, I mean, Cloud9 on this map, Shroud's going to be, going over towards that B platform. He's going to be creeping around that smoke. Noble is going to start on the CT side, so they've got to be able to manage Shroud in that position. He's very, very effective in it. And also the big thing, they got to keep the economy low. They can't let Cbble be able to consistently have that AWP. If they can control the economy and they can keep that off out of Cbbble's hands, that's going to give him some openings, a little bit more opportunities. But if he's able to, keep rebuying that and just establish a portion of the map as his, and Noble gets scared away from going there, or even, if he's able to get these picks with that AWP, Noble's in for a lot of trouble early on.
Yeah, and this overall is definitely going to be a pretty difficult map for Noble to take. Statistically speaking, this is one of Cloud9's better maps in their more recent matchups against both North American as well as European teams. So Noble's really going to have a tough time here. They did get a little bit unlucky on the map draw, but I mean, what else? What do you think? What other keys are going to be crucial here for Noble to possibly take a victory?
It comes down to just controlling the economy. They that's the big thing, because they get outskilled by all these players on top to bottom on Cloud9. Just better players, more experience. So you have to be able to control the economy. You have to be able to keep Molotovs, smokes, a number of flashbangs out of their hands throughout this matchup to really have an advantage. That's how they have to make up that skill gap.
And Cloud9, of course, has a very, very strong CT side on this map as well. Looking at some of the more recent stats, they sit at about I think it's about an 88% half ratio, and I think a 65% round ratio on their CT side, so looking very strong there. It's a little bit weaker on the T side, but it's still very good, and I believe it's pretty much close to 60% and over that. So the team is looking very strong, and it's going to be a very tough match. But it does look like we are getting live now, so welcome, guys, once again. This is Noble Esports versus Cloud9 in the ESL One North American Qualifiers, our first match here today.
Yeah, and Noble's got to be careful right off the bat on these pistol rounds. Cloud9's pistol rounds lately have been no joke. They've just been very aggressive, especially during this drop. This is what they did against Fnatic, is just come down, drop immediately, and they're just going to bully their way into this B bomb site.
And they're sitting here waiting now, waiting for the play to come out. As for the stack coming out from Noble Esports, they're only going to keep one towards A, so they do have a typical 4-stack back over here by B, and this could help, but of course they do have to watch out for the drop play. Shad already peeking outside the boxes now, trying to find a way in, and already going past the walls, well, completely coming behind Lopez. They're going to pick off a headshot, looking for a second here, but Cbble as well, along with Freakazoid, are going to pick him up, and unfortunately it's just going to be an absolute slaughter here. Only 4-shot is left alive on the rotation from A, but won't be able to pick anything up, and it's going to be pretty much a flawless round there for Cloud9 on the pistol.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of miscommunication, or not being, like, Shroud just able to jump through the smoke, no one spotting him, able to get that first kill with the Noble player not even knowing what's coming. So that's going to be happening a lot. Cloud9 likes to put a lot of pressure on drop.
And now as we head into the buys here for the second round, just trying to see what Cloud9 picks up. Shroud's actually going to stick with the Tech 9 to try and save a little bit more cash. We're going to see an AK brought up by Cbble as well as a Galil for nothing. And then beyond that, we've got 2 SMGs on the board. Sean Garrett's going with the MAC-10, and then Freakazoid with the MP7. Lining up for a full B take, though, heading out here towards Cat. And they are going to molly just to try and push back anybody else. But as we can see, the molly actually does block them off for a few moments. However, it's not too much trouble. As Noble actually, take a look at what they're doing at the moment. They're trying to go for this big flank behind them, and I'm not sure Cloud9 expect this, but the take is on, and they're going to have to try and come in quickly behind these Cloud9 players if they want to take them out. They've gotten behind them now, and again, we've already got 2, 3 frags onto the board, including a grenade kill coming out, and once again, Sean Garrett just with a complete flank behind those players, cleans it up, and Cloud9 pick up the second round. No trouble at all, and nobody going down as well.
Yeah, and with no armor investment either for Noble Esports in that round, you saw Sean with the MAC-10 getting 2 kills. Freakazoid got 1. That's more money in the bank with those SMG bonuses, and that's 2 rounds now. Noble still no player with a kill on the board quite yet, so this is what's going to happen. They need to really in this first gun round, because that's the thing. They save that armor for this first gun round. They're going to have their smokes, they're going to have their Molotovs, and they really need to have a strong first gun round if they want to prevent this from getting too out of hand.
So only going to get tossed down as nothing peeks his way out back over here towards the Cat, and the drop play already on as well. They're way into the site. 2 frags up onto the board here. 1 player from Noble still trying to hide out in Chicken Coop, but he gets completely destroyed by that grenade there. Roa is going to be able to pick off a headshot over here to take out Shroud. So they've taken out 2 players at the very least here, but still being held completely off by the AB connector. And now with no way into that site, that bomb's going to go down pretty easily. And again, only with a molly on Roa at this point, not looking too good here to pick up a 3rd round. And obviously, again, they're definitely going to be looking towards that gun round at this point, looking for those exits.
Yeah, I mean, luckily they got nothing who had a Galil. I think they took out Shroud, who had an AK-47 as well. So, I mean, that's a gun that Cloud9's going to want to salvage at some point. Sean's being aggressive over towards drop. Not going to put too much pressure on him. No reason to really dedicate yourself, but they're going to try and farm with these SMGs, and they're going to get it. So both of them add, Freakazoid and Sean, add a little bit more money into their bank, and now it comes. And this is where Noble really needs to step it up in this round. They're going to have the AWP on Rob Wiz. They need to find ways to win the entry battles. Use these Molotovs to slow down any kind of early pressure from Cloud9.
And the money there is still looking extremely strong here from Cloud9. Looking after the buys and after we see them upgrading to the AK series, still 5,100 and 4,900 on Sean Garris and Freakazoid respectively. So a lot of cash. As you said, big round here. And if they don't manage to take it, then unfortunately Noble Esports are going to have to try to get themselves back on that treadmill very quickly. Otherwise, Cloud9 are going to take a lead way too fast in this matchup.
Coming over towards drop, they're slowed down, but here's Shroud creeping through the smoke. He's going to do what he likes to do, try and find a pick around the edge, much like Olaf Meister does for Fnatic. Hasn't spotted anything yet.
Shroud just taking it nice and slow right now as the smoke's still obscuring a little bit of vision. Planks is actually going to take advantage of this as he pushes forward here to the broken wall. Haven't spotted him yet, but that is a pretty typical spot, so they might check that when they try to go. But overall, no combat engagements just as of yet. Shroud comes down, though, and it's actually going to be Sean Garris and Freakazoid that find the entries back over by broken wall and drop, respectively. Chicken Coop gets checked as well. Robwiz is able to find 1, but beyond that, again, nothing else being claimed here by the players on Noble. Roe is the last one alive. He's completely cut off from the site, and now he's got to run to try and save that M4.
Yeah, and this is that's the thing. This is Cloud9 coming down drop. They're finding all the entries they could have, like Sean opening things up that round. These first kills, I mean, this is exactly what Noble doesn't want to do. When you save those in those 2 eco rounds and you want to have this full buy, you cannot let the entries go the other way when you have all the Molotovs you use in that first gun round. So Cloud9 just not even really doing anything that tactical, just bullying their way into these bomb sites, and they're winning these battles against the Noble players. And
they seem to have a decent setup for it there too on the defense coming out from Noble, but as you said, pretty much the trade's just not really ending up going their way. Roa is able to pick up an extra one here towards the end of the rounds. He finds nothing, but for some reason doesn't end up spotting. I believe it was Shroud there who kind of ran past him as well. The flash made that play a little bit confusing, but at the end of the day, he gets dropped, and now no saves at all here for the Noble players. They're completely reduced, and they're going to have to go on to another eco here to try and go for a buy round on the 6th.
Yeah, Cloud9 with all that money they built up in those 2 eco rounds, you know, knowing they can go for that hunt, they have the money behind it to really eliminate any kind of attempted save from Noble. So 4-0 on this T side. It's going to force 1 more eco. We do have a pause. 1 player did drop from the server for the Noble side, but this is where it's going to start getting scary. This is where it can snowball out of hand. You know, Noble, this is what we talked about. This is a tall task going against a team like Cloud9, and they're getting beat up right now. So this pause, I mean, it's because someone dropped, but they can take some time and they can discuss how they want to get back into this.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the big key things here is going to be that CT economy. That often becomes an issue, not just at the level that the players on Noble are used to playing at ESCA Premier, but also kind of at the pro league, or pro level, I should say. We see that a lot of the time as well. So what do you think is going to be the key here for Noble not to sort of spend too much money or just kind of get rid of a lot of that and end up overwhelming themselves on the money side of things?
Well, it comes down to, I mentioned they're going to have to be able to contain Shroud at that B platform, creeping around those smokes. That round, he didn't have any pressure. He creeped all the way over there. There was no one from Noble spotting him, no one putting any pressure on him. He was allowed to be so patient, wait as those smokes faded. When they start putting pressure on drop, it's going to cause rotations. It's going to push the Noble defenders, into his crosshairs. So if he's able to just sit up there comfortably without taking any damage, without seeing any bullets even come his way, he's going to have a field day.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we get live again here, folks. 4-0 at the moment for anybody that is just joining us here right after the first gun round. And Noble once again here going on to their first eco after that. Cloud9 still with plenty of cash saved up in the bank. Now we see Roa here back on the B side trying to get aggressive, but Sean there picks up an early frag here with a frag grenade as he takes out Planks. And now again we see that entry coming in. Roa not able to hold his own position, so he gets pushed back, and Shroud way into the site trying to flank. He does get hit, but as well Rob Wiz is going to be able to finish him off. But beyond that, again, it's pretty much the same play we've seen for a lot of these rounds where they're kind of just getting 1 or 2 frags here. But Lopez, however, still holding himself off. He is going to be able to drop Freakazoid, but nothing quickly comes up behind him to take him out, and that will be another round going onto the board for Cloud9.
Yeah, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do listening to Noble here. See, I mean, this is the first gun round. This is where they have to get on track. So we're gonna see what they're thinking in this round. Okay, so they were actually just dead silent through that whole thing. So they had a plan maybe that they established during that eco round, but literally nothing to say. And there's 2 entries for Lopez. Or not entries, but the first 2 kills of the round. He stops the aggression. That's exactly what they needed. So he's got them a great opportunity in this round in a 5-on-3.
Players from Cloud9 going to be held back over here inside of the castle for now as Noble just spreads themselves out a little bit more. They are going to expect that rotation. We can see Lopez definitely a little bit low after that trade, down to just 6 HP, but actually we see nothing. He still decides to go down to drop there, so he's going to decide to play this regardless, and they'll not resume the push they were going before. They just feel back to look for maybe a couple rotations or see if Noble were going to try to get that aggressive, but now we have that smoke held off here. Still going to hold nothing back for now, and the rest of the team still a minute left since all these frags happened so early, so plenty of time for Cloud9 to play with. And now nothing is able to take out Lopez there after he took out 2 of his own teammates. And as well, keep in mind, we still have Freakazoid far in the back. He's going to be able to retrieve that bomb in a moment, as it is still down back over on top of the drop stairs. But Freakazoid looking for another entry, isn't really able to spot it, and actually Planks there with a great flash combination coming off from a teammate. They're going to be able to drop Freakazoid off of that. And now it's brought into a 2-on-4 here, finally looking like we may see Noble pick up a round.
Yeah, but this is a pretty solid position to be in for Cbble. You can find some kills, even if they lose this round, if they're able to get 2 more kills and keep the economy a little bit low, force drops out of their hands. But just with 1 or 2 kills, they can kind of open this up because they have it split right between these 2 these bomb sites here. Drop zone, and there's Planks with a good angle, finds Cbble, not able to adjust in time. Nothing flashed himself out. He finds 1 kill. It's a great shot, but he can't convert on the second one. That's going to be the first round for Noble. And now the danger is, now they have to stabilize. They've got to string them together here. They cannot get their economy reset at this point.
And Cloud9 is still with plenty of cash left at the bank. Cbble here, he hasn't bought yet. Probably going to rebuy his own up, but sitting at 11.8k, still plenty of money left, and probably going to be able to go for another rebuy after this, even if we do see Noble pick up the second. So
yeah, and Cloud9, they've been going towards this B bomb site. They haven't done anything. So this round it looks like they want to adjust it. They want to go over towards A because they've gotten everything they've wanted at B. Finally, Noble stops them, and now they switch things up. They do have a couple players to kind of mask this. Going over towards B, Shroud's going to do his typical play around the smoke on B platform. He's actually going to find one. That's really unfortunate. Planks get caught looking the wrong way through that smoke. So Shroud's done some damage. That forces some rotates. All the meanwhile, 4 members of Cloud9 still leaning over towards the A bomb site.
Shroud looking for a way through now. He's going to trade out the AK for a little bit more ammo. Still looking for a way, but keep in mind, this is all going to be a ruse because the real play happening back over here towards the A site. Already working their way through mid, but Roa peeks through. He's going to pick up 2 frags now. Nothing is able to respond by taking him down, but he gets the 2 for 1, and now they bring it into even terms to make up for Shroud's entry earlier, and they bring it into a 3-on-3.
Yeah, but they don't have to commit to that A bomb site. Perfect play from Shroud, understanding the rotation, gets aggressive, finds 1 more. Now you can see Cbble and nothing. They're rotating back with the bomb over towards this B bomb site. Shroud just has to hold out as long as possible, not let Lopez and Rob Wiz make any kind of progress on this B bomb site.
And they're working in. The rotation's coming out somewhat slow from Noble. They're not going to be in a good position here, and they don't want to take the risk on peeking into the site just yet with Shroud still there, and they don't really know where he's at. So they get the smoke back over here to the right side of Fountain, and that's going to allow nothing to get the bomb down. Shroud as well, get the peek in as well. We're going to see Shroud, I think, get dinked there by the op, but not enough to take him out, and it's going to be Cbble and nothing that clean up the final 2 players from Noble. And again, they just retake another round after that little bit of a bump from Noble.
Yeah, and that's the intelligence. That's the great play by Shroud. When those trade comes in from nothing, over at the A bomb site. He knows players from B are going to be rotating over with the sight of that many Cloud9 players there. So Shroud takes the advantage, knowing he's either going to find an open bomb site or a one-on-one, and he wins it for his team. They're able to rotate back quite easily. So nice mid-round by Cloud9. Just abusing the rotations for Noble.
And it'll probably be another pretty quick play here from Cloud9 as they go back to the typical strat they were doing. We're going to try to get aggressive, but Planks unfortunately not having too much luck in that one. We do have 4-shot just around the corner there, and as well he is going to be able to find a nice headshot there, taking out Shroud. Freakazoid quickly corrects that and brings it into a 3-on-4 again as the rest of Noble tries to rotate in, and we even have Sean Garris there as well taking out Rob Wiz, who was trying to flank behind them. Doesn't really work out too well, and again we're just down to those 2 players left alive. Lopez actually does pick up another one as he takes out Sean Garris, but now they move in. It's a 3-on-2. Freakazoid actually pretty low at this point, so there might be an opportunity, especially with Lopez picking up this AK, but now nothing is going to be able to drop out Roa. We'll see as well here, Lopez kind of stuck at the moment inside a drop, and with that AK, he's probably going to run to try and save that.
Yeah, that's the big thing. He's got to save that weapon. They haven't really been doing too much economical damage on their save rounds whatsoever, so, I mean, Cloud9, their money's still ballooning and everything like that, so tough spot to be in for Noble. Skadoodle's continuously able to rebuy this AWP, but it's all about Shroud and how he's just he has dominance on this B platform, and that was kind of the key battle for me. If Noble wanted to come out of this matchup, they needed to be able to contain him, and they're not doing it. And there's a couple ways you can do it. You can be double nading, triple nading behind that smoke. You know Shroud's going to do it. He's been doing it all match. Throw some Molotovs behind the smokes, throw some nades into it, flashbangs, keep them back, put some pressure on, allow your defenders at that B bomb site to get into a good position to punish him.
The thing is, though, is we've seen this plenty of times now from Noble where they kind of just rush their way up their broken wall and try to find Shroud there. It doesn't really seem like they've gone for a nade strategy. Why do you think that is? They're kind of avoiding going for the nades. Obviously, economical issues on the eco rounds themselves, but on the gun rounds, they even still stay a little bit more preserved.
Yeah, that's just them putting more emphasis on drop at the beginning of these rounds. They don't want Cloud9 to be able to come down there, so they have more emphasis on that. And now we see a double save out of him, which is interesting. It's Cloud9. They're setting up like this is a gun round, but they're going to find all pistol. Shroud once again finding an easy kill. Rob Wiz trying to jump around those boxes in the smoke. Lopez is here with the AK-47, but he's playing it very close, right underneath Shroud, who hasn't spotted him out yet. But he's letting his teammates bait for him a little bit.
He is going to get spotted there. Shroud goes to peek. Not a lot of coverage on that as 4-shot is not able to take him out in the process. And Shroud again just goes for the repeak there, finds an easy headshot onto 4-shot. And now we're down to just Roa and Planks. Once again, Planks does pick up a frag and brings it into a 2-on-4, but now Shroud's going to have a great angle here. He finds another headshot, taking out Planks. No trouble at all. And Roa, unfortunately, stuck in the middle of the site. There's no hope for him to get away from this one. And Freakazoid will pick up that final frag. Cloud9 lead 8-1 now.
Yeah, Shroud's just having a blast. He's loving this right now. He's just deathmatching over there. He got 4 kills in that eco round. Now we see the op on Rob Wiz. And honestly, they have double op, actually. So 4-shot, also picking one up. They need to just plant an op and just hope that Shroud's going to keep creeping around that smoke, see if they can punish him for it. Rob Wiz is going to take his over towards these A halls. He's going to push up. He's going to try and grab an angle. Skadoodle's out there, though. Skadoodle's already zoomed in, and he's going to win that battle. Rob Wiz not ready for that one. There's a Molotov, but that doesn't slow Shroud down whatsoever.
Shroud finding the way and does have a little bit of an angle through the smoke, and that op is set up back over here by Chicken Coop, but he can't connect the shot, and now we see Planks moving up a little bit here too, trying to find the shot onto Shroud himself, and even 4-shot back there once again. The nade's going to come in from Shroud. It might connect there and take him down. Not going to be enough. It brings down to 9 HP, and Shroud, great job there, locks it right on a 4-shot to take him out, and now just pummeling here, down to 3 HP, but the flash comes out. Not enough to eliminate Planks, however, and he is going to be able to respond by finally taking down Shroud and bringing this into a 3-on-3. The rest of Cloud9, however, they're already working for an entry here onto the A site. They've only got 1 player on it from the side of Noble, and that's going to be Roa at this point, trying to hold himself off back over there on top of the building, but he quickly gets eliminated by nothing, and Freakazoid inside his shed as well. He drops Lopez. Now we're down to just Planks. He's already injured. He is going to be able to respond and finally eliminate Freakazoid, but now he's in a 1-on-2, and no nades at all here to try and retake this. He'll pick up a flash here on the floor in just a second, but that's not going to be too much here, and unless he connects this kill, it looks like we're please seeing Cloud9 pick up yet another round.
Yeah, this is a 1-on-2 that Planks absolutely has to go for, though. He cannot afford to save this gun. He's just got to try, and nothing's going to punish him. And this is just Cloud9 finding every battle they want. Coming up that A bomb site, that ramp in a 3-on-3, Freakazoid doesn't even try and take over the bomb site. He just gets in positions to cut off the rotates, confident that his 2 teammates are going to be able to eliminate any defender in A. And he's able to pick one off as he tries to come out, mount a defense. So, and it's still Shroud finding another kill over there towards B platform. So everyone from Cloud9 is just winning the fights that they want to take.
I mean, so at this point here, we just haven't seen any stoppage for Shroud. So what would be possible alternate strategy to consider? We'll actually probably discuss this in a minute, because here comes Sean Garris. Actually, is going to be the first one to come out here through broken wall. Nice flash, actually does completely obscure vision, and now they've got the 2 entries already here onto the board. Shroud again picking up 2 here. We do see one of the players, Freakazoid. He gets dinked down to 10 HP, but everybody else on Noble already dead at this point. So.
Yeah, and we're getting word that Noble's actually going to be taking time out after this round. But here's the thing. Noble hasn't adjusted. They're still putting so much emphasis on the drop. and even on every round, it's Shroud, it's Sean that round. They're able to get out that platform without any kind of pressure. They're able to just be comfortable and patient in that position, and they're finding easy kills, really. There's not enough players with eyes, not enough players putting pressure and attention on that from the CT team.
Yeah, absolutely, and unfortunately, if that just continues to happen, we're just going to see round and round again here from Cloud9 claimed, and technically speaking, this is sort of Cloud9's weaker side. I mean, we're speaking weaker, but they have, pretty strong win ratios anyway for their T side, and CT, it's only going to get more and more brutal here just on the side. I mean, technically speaking, for a team like Noble, I would argue that the CT side is going to be a little bit harder just because they don't know how to set up, they may not know, I should say, how to set up particularly or how to correctly rotate in certain situations, and that has been an issue here with setting themselves up onto the A side and getting the responses to when Shroud goes for that entry time and time again. But now switching over to the T side, even with how strong Cloud9 is on that CT side, what hope is there going to be for them to try to swing a comeback?
Well, the only hope they have is they got to put some more rounds on the board. I mean, they absolutely, they're in that position now where they have to get these. It seems simple and obvious. They have to get these 4 rounds. If they end this half with 1 or 2, there's really no hope. And this was kind of what we talked about. I mean, this is a team that doesn't have experience playing against teams at this level, and it's showing here.
Yeah, but of course, if they do end up dropping here, it's not going to be the end of the world. Hopefully this is a little bit of a nice little experience for them in the wake-up call, and they'll get a much better chance against the loser of our next matchup, which I believe will be between Tempo Storm and Liquid.
Correct.
But it does look like we are going live again here, folks. So let's take a look now. Noble getting a little bit of a pause there, a little bit of a sit back, and a little bit of a chance to re-strategize themselves. Let's see what they decide to do here. And they go for, again here, a 4-man sit-up on the B site. But now I think that we're going to get the call out here from Roa pretty quickly after they do see the flashes coming inside of mid-connector. And Roa's going to fall back very quickly. No real teammates moving in just yet. 4 shots now on his way over, but they're still expecting that push to come out through Broken Wall. So Roa's going to have a lot to respond to. A-Doors get smoked off there as well, and we're going to see here in just a second. I think that's Freakazoid that manages to make his way through. Roa is able to respond after he does take down 4-shot, with 4-shot jumping out from balcony, but he still have Roa holding off to the site. Nothing, and as well as Shroud picking up 2 more once again. And now we just have 2 left alive, both off-site and smoked off at this point, and nothing as well there. Completely over here. He does manage to take out Lopez, so now it's just planks.
Yeah, that's a great call by Cloud9 there. They've putting so much emphasis and so much success at B. They know the defense is going to lean that way, especially after that tactical pause, because they talked about it. How do we stop this B hit? How do we contain this aggression on the platform? And Cloud9 throws them for a loop. And what they didn't send anyone over towards B. In other rounds where they've gone A, they've still had Shroud there to make a present. That time they don't do it, so they went up mid so quickly so that there's no indication they're doing it. And by the time they get into the bomb site and clear it out, there's already smokes in the choke points to block off the rotations. There's already nades and Molotovs coming into the doors. And what can you do if you're Noble?
Yeah, absolutely. And with Cloud9 coming up ahead here again, Noble's economy is going to be put into a fairly dark place. A couple players still in semi-decent positions where they may be able to go for a FAMAS buy or a little bit of a light buy, and it does look like they are going to go and just try to take that because, as you mentioned before, they absolutely have to try and pick up as many rounds as they can. If they ended on this scoreline here, then there's going to be pretty much zero hope for them in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and now we're going back to this fast B play. Very light utility on the CT side. 1 kit, very little nades, very little smokes and flashes, and instead of just toying with the drop, they're all going to swing out. It's not just Shroud, but he finds the entry anyway. That's Planks who goes down. Still looking for more, but Rob Wiz surprises him a little bit from the side, so Cloud9 gets stalled out a little bit on the platform. There's 4-shot and Freakazoid chiming in. Some good trades for Cloud9, and now they're going to push this defense back. They're going to be able to make a little bit more progression.
Yeah, he goes deep there, and it's actually going to be able to take out 4-shot. Skadoodle responds right after that with another op shot. Again, just a pretty typical entry there. Noble unable to respond to that, unable to find the shots that are needed to take out the players on Cloud9, and they just kind of sweep through it once again.
Yeah, that round ended with basically 4 players at Cloud9 still on the platform. They didn't have to enter the bomb site, so they're crushing that long-range battle. And now you see desperate for rounds, 3 FAMASes, 1 Mag 7, no armor on Planks, who has the only M4. They have 2 smokes, 1 kit. And this is a very difficult situation to be in, especially when you're having a tough time even with full kits.
And that makes sense at this point, too, just considering it. And hold on, because we have absolutely a whole truckload of nades coming out back over here over towards Broken Wall as they try to work their way in. Shroud and Lopez are going to trade some blows here. You do have Planks hanging out back over here by the fountain, and it's going to be even trades, 2 for 2 for now. But right after that, Skadoodle now finds an open angle, and he's going to be able to take down Planks. Roa moving in, but unfortunately gets stopped right in his tracks there by Skadoodle, and 4-shot trying to just do whatever damage he can. He won't have it. And to go back to what I was saying before, I mean, Noble at this point, they know for sure that if you just look at the totals here from Cloud9 at this point, they know that playing it safe and looking for a couple frags here and there is not going to break the bank. It was obviously just, we need to win rounds, we need to push it at every single opportunity here, and that's why we're just seeing these super aggressive buys at this point.
Yeah, here's the tough part with Cloud9, with how deep this roster is in terms of individual skill. It's you find so much success and you feel good, you get those 2 for 2 trades, you've taken out Shroud and Sean, and that's when Skadoodle of all people comes in just to break your heart.
And now we see where exactly Cloud9 is going to play this. Planks, again, actually finally manages to win that trade that he's been trying to pull off here for most of this half so far, where he jumps up onto Broken Wall. He is going to be able to take down Shroud, and this is a good omen for them. I think the one run they did when they pulled off the same feat, Robo tries to go for a peek here against Sean Garris as well as one other member, but it doesn't end up working out too well, and now Freakazoid moving through the smoke, tries to find his way in, but Rob, who is with the Mag 7, he is going to be able to drop Freakazoid, and now we see Sean Garris responding after that. 3-on-3 once more, 4 shots still holding back over here by the shed, picks up 2, and finally we see another round picked up by Noble, ending the half at a scoreline of 2-13.
Yeah, and it comes off the back of finally winning that battle at the platform, because they win that round, and then you see they have 3 players in that A bomb site, so they alleviate that pressure on the B defense. That allows them to get more bodies in the A bomb site, and they're able to shut it down.
And now we're going to be switching sides, of course, moving the players from Cloud9 back over onto the CT side, and Noble jumping onto the T. What's going to be the big thing here for Noble? Obviously, pistol round to start it off, but if they do manage to get their foot into the ground here to try and make it back, what's going to be the big key thing?
I mean, they've got a miracle to work here. It's going to start with, yeah, pistol round, sure. It's going to be starting with that second round too. If Cloud9 decides to buy up in that round, I don't see why they wouldn't. But they're going to have to manage the economy. They don't have a lot of mistakes to give up. That's the thing, and it's going to be tough because Cloud9 at any point they have so many rounds to toy with. Even if they're losing early on, they can just grind it out in terms of money as long as they're getting kills. I mean, they can keep the economy for Noble low on that Terra side and just win that way at some point eventually.
And based on what you saw there, based on the play we saw from the first half on CT, do you think we're going to see anything super crazy coming out of the players here from Noble on their T side to try and hopefully throw off Cloud9 a little bit? Because obviously Sean Garris tries to go for the counter strap, but...
No, we're not going to see anything crazy. I mean, really, even if they have some kind of next-level tactic that could surprise Cloud9, I think the skill of these Cloud9 players is just too individually high. It won't have much of an impact, especially with already at 13 for Cloud9, just too many rounds for them to play with.
And now we are going to switch half, guys. So as we go live into it here once again, let's take a look at exactly what Noble can bring back, if anything at all, here now, as we head into the pistol here for the second round, or second half, I should say.
3 players for Cloud9 going over, actually a 4th one, Cbble even chiming in. So they're putting a lot of emphasis on this. Freakazoid's going to push up towards those A tunnels, try and find some information. But here it comes, down drop. Here's the attack for the Terrace over towards the B site. Sean's going to win that battle. Freak gets into a battle over at A. He loses that, but unfortunately everyone else from Cloud9 has won it. So 2-on-4 now for Noble.
And Noble is going to try to rotate most of their players back over here to the A site now, but Cloud9 can unfortunately see this one coming in. They're even going to smoke off long A, so 4shot's just going to have to try and make a blind push through this one. Does manage to get a little bit of an angle here, but I believe the Cloud9 players will also be able to spot him, and now he's getting shot up here already down to 45 HP. Bomb has not been revealed as of yet, so Planks is still being kept a mystery, but keep an eye on the flank coming out here from Shroud at this point too. Slowly work up behind these players. Sean Garris taken down 4shot, and now Planks stuck in here, and Shroud pulling out the knife, but not going to be able to pick up a frag on that one. Planks does manage to take him down, but now he's dropped to 12 HP. And now he has to try and hold this one off, but unfortunately not looking too good here with his current position being trapped.
Yeah, not much you can do there. Good flank by Shroud as well, even going for that knife. But 14-2 now. We said Noble didn't really have any mistakes to make, and they didn't necessarily make a mistake. It's just Cloud9 just being too strong for them from start to finish in this matchup.
You see a little bit of banter there going in game, but now the Vise come out here from the Cloud9 players, and they're just going to go all in on this one here. We see 2 SMGs once again. Shroud's actually going to go for the P90 buy here. Sean Garris going for the Mag 7, and then we've got a Scout on Skedoodle and the FAMAS back over here onto nothing. Noble moving their players back over here to drop to try and work an entry on here, but Cloud9 with a pretty good setup to try and counter this one out, and it's going to be a slaughter here to start it off. Shroud 1, 2, 3, and Sean Garris comes in for a little bit of a piece of the action. Nothing actually ends up killing his teammate with a grenade in the process, and 4shot picks up one. But beyond that, again, no other pickups coming out for the Noble players, and now we're on match point.
Yeah, that's just a 6 stack from Cloud9 there. They just shut that down completely. Jordan probably feeling like he's not getting enough kills in this matchup. Thought he had to chime in with the nade on his teammate. He's trying to pad that kill counter.
Trying to get up there a little bit, get a little bit more of the action. So again, this is probably going to be at Noble, obviously going for the force buy here. Deagle on Rob Wiz, 3 Tech 9s and a Galil for Planks. Sean Garris pushing here through mid-connector, already spotting these players out, and we see Noble. They're just going to push right into this one. Great nade, absolutely destroys them. Now Skedoodle gets into it, and once again, Freakazoid as well with the P90. Tries to pick up another kill, but unfortunately punished there by 4shot. Sean Garris able to take down Row once again. Still peeking here through mid doors, and that's going to be able to pick up one more, and now we're all down to Planks at this point with 11 HP. It's looking pretty confident at this point, and it looks like now that's going to be the end of it, guys. Cloud9, they're going to claim this set here, and with that, they'll be moving on to the semifinals. They'll take on the winner of our next match, and as for Noble, they're dropping down.
Yeah, and then that's kind of, I mean, we said Cloud9 was going to be those heavy favorites. We said this matchup was a lot to ask for out of Noble. And this is a team, Cloud9, that outclasses, even teams like CLG and Liquid at times. So too much for them to handle. Just so much skill. You could see there towards the end of the match, it was just Cloud9 saying, we don't care about tactics. We're going to make you win some of these gun battles, but we're going to win them instead.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, again, talking a little bit more here about what we could possibly see from Noble later on. They're going to end up taking on the loser of either Tempo Storm or Liquid. What do you see coming out of that match, possibly, based on who we may or may not see win or lose that match?
That's going to be a really interesting match to me, to be honest with you, because, you know, Liquid's that team that's trying to take the mantle of that second-best team in North America, but they've struggled with their consistency. Tempo Storm with a great showing last weekend. Can they keep that up? Can they have that kind of performance again? They took it to Navi, they took it to Virtus Pro, took a map off Navi, got some good rounds, and they were winning some gun battles. So that's going to be really interesting to see how the aggression of that team individually plays out in that matchup. Much like this one here, I mean, that's just kind of what Cloud9 was doing. I mean, if you can't contain that B platform on Cbble, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, and Shroud just had a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. How many rounds did he get in there? I think it was only stopped maybe one. I think the two rounds that we ended up seeing the players on Noble pick up, I think that was exactly what happened. And now I believe we are going to take a look at a couple replays here as they come out. This is Sean Garris making his way in. We'll see exactly what happens here on these replays.
Yeah, I mean, this is an eco round, so they just don't have, there's no pressure on that. They're able to get out there taking these long-range battles. So, I mean, they were just winning that fight. There were rounds where they didn't even have to get off the platform. They already had 3 picks before they really even had to enter that bomb site. So, overwhelming Noble at that B bomb site over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I think for Noble, this is hopefully going to be a good opportunity for them to, you know, head to the back here, re-strategize a little bit, and think about what they're going to do for their next matchup. Because again, they're not out completely yet. They still have one more opportunity to face off against the loser of our next match.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And for Cloud9, I mean, this is just
a great start of the day.
Yeah, a really good start of the whole tournament. I mean, that's the thing. It was at points it just kind of looked like a little bit of a death match.
I would say so, especially when, you know, Shroud pulls out the knife and, you know, tries to go for the kill there on the knife round because they know they're just that far ahead.
Well, the big thing for Noble as well is you talk about them being able to have some time. They just got some experience. No need to, like, retool it. Don't overthink it. You just got to start playing confident, win your battles. And now we are going to have an interview over with Sadicus is going to be Sean Gare, so take it away.
All right, thanks so much, Moses and Blue. Hello, Sean Gares. Pretty straightforward in the first game. Was there any, obviously the results speak for themselves, was there any worry going into it, I guess, about a dark horse factor in a best of one?
Yeah, of course. I mean, best of one, Cbble, you just got to get the pistols. Once we got the pistols and like the economy built, I knew we were safe at that point. However, I mean, any best of one game, you always have to be nervous.
And about Cbble, where it is obviously a best of one, were you guys satisfied with that veto, or was there another map that perhaps you had in mind? Obviously, you're vetoing 6 maps. It's hard to get the one you want, but was that comfortable?
Yeah, no, Cbble was pretty good. We wanted an open map where it came down to aim a lot, and we could use like Shroud, Skadoodle, Jordan, Freakazoid a lot. So it worked out. Cbble, +2, like any map like that would have been fine. And basically, it was between Train and Cbble. So either of the last 2 maps would have been fine by us.
So overall in this event, you guys have been on a road trip, I guess you could say. I think it's 5 weeks now in a row for you guys coming out back from Valencia. You stayed in the HyperX house. You're this close to getting a break and seeing your families again. But how's the mentality within the team after all these events? Obviously, the results have been incredible. But coming into this, do you guys feel maybe burnt out? Do you feel all right? How is everything?
Yeah, everything's honestly been pretty good. We got a little bit burnt out towards the end of CVO, where it was like, Jesus Christ, let's just get back to California, like kind of in the States and chill. Because, I mean, it is the home of like half of us, so we're fine to be here, but Shroud and Scott still want to go home, obviously, a little bit homesick at this point. Just trying to hang in there. That's it.
Yeah, and so for this event, obviously starting off very well, got through the first map. Now you will play either Team Liquid or Tempo Storm in the upper bracket, whoever wins that next matchup, which we're about to see. Is there a preference there? Would you rather play one and not the other?
Yeah, I mean, we played Liquid a lot. Obviously, I was pretty shocked by Tempo Storm at Cbble, so kind of watched a couple of their replays over the last few days and just see how they play. And actually have a lot of our strats. I don't know if like that's Shazam influence within the team, but I noticed they run like a bunch of tactics that we have, which is cool. It'll be fun to play against them if they win, but I know Liquid's also been boot camping, so maybe they can show some new stuff.
Yeah, and Liquid's been kind of inconsistent in terms of LAN performances, but online have been solid. All Tempo, though, after last week, definitely are a threat. Well, I won't keep you for too long. You guys get some time to relax now before that upper bracket happens. So we will take a short break on the stream, very short break. The computers are already set and ready for the next matchup, and we'll get back into that very shortly. So thank you very much, Sean, and everyone on stream. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.